Hey there, CENIMASTER fans. Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. Our movie begins with R walking and talking about himself. We learn that he is a zombie, dead like everyone else walking around him. He has been living in this state for so long that he has forgotten his name, only remembering that it starts with the letter R. He doesn't even know what he used to do before he died and transformed. However, he enjoys observing zombies still standing in their old workplaces, imagining what they used to do when they were alive. His typical day involves walking through the streets, imagining how people used to live in these streets before the world ended. We also learn that the most terrifying creatures for both humans and non-humans are the bonies, who don't scare zombies because they're already dead, but these creatures literally eat anything alive, whether human or animal. The bonies are zombies who have reached a stage of despair and complete surrender to their fate, a stage that R never wants to reach. He struggles as much as possible to avoid giving in. During his journey, he meets his best friend. They sit and stare at each other for a while and sometimes exchange incomprehensible murmurs, which usually boil down to two words. I'm hungry, let's go get food from the city. When they go to the city to get food, they must go in groups to protect themselves from the humans who hunt them. The city is located behind a high wall, guarded to protect against zombie attacks, especially the bonies. We learn from Papa John, the current leader of the city, that this plague emerged 8 years ago and destroyed a large part of the world. That's why they built a wall around them. Every so often, a team of 8 volunteers goes out to retrieve medicine and food from the outside world, as food is available there. Of course, zombies don't eat the food, they only eat the living. They must be very careful because zombies look human but are dead, not alive. Even if one of them used to be your father or mother, they're no longer your family. We're also introduced to Julie, the daughter of Papa John, who is in a relationship with Perry, who joins her on this mission. At this moment, a door in the wall opens, and the 8 armed individuals head out, coinciding with R and his group heading to the city. As usual, the bonies hunt humans and feed on them, while the zombies can't join their feast. Suddenly, while wandering, they smell humans in a storage facility. They turn and enter the facility. Inside, Nora tells Julie she hears a zombie outside. Julie suggests canceling the mission and returning, but Perry insists they can't cancel because Papa John gave them orders that must be followed. Plus, the people inside the city desperately need medicine this month, and they can't return empty-handed. Julie gets upset because Perry reminds her of her father, always saying yes and okay to everything. At this moment, Nora hears louder noises and things moving outside. They all prepare themselves, and Julie tells Perry they need to retreat. But Perry refuses again, insisting he won't disobey Papa John's orders. He opens the door, telling her there's nothing out there and it's all in their imagination. Suddenly, all the zombies appear and attack him, including R. They start shooting at the zombies, but of course they don't die because they're already dead. Perry tells them to aim for their heads, not their bodies. But the zombies give them no chance, taking them down one by one. At this moment, R notices Julie and is fascinated by her. He wonders why she's there and realizes she's human. Romantic music starts playing in the background. Perry shoots at R, pulling him out of his trance. R drags Perry to the ground, beats him, and eventually crushes his skull, beginning to eat his brain. We learn that when a zombie eats the brain of a victim, which is the best part, they start seeing the victim's memories as if watching a movie or dreaming. Among Perry's memories, R sees Julie, whom Perry was in a relationship with. R then looks for her. She is standing, terrified, as her bullets run out while trying to protect Nora. R approaches her, but she tries to kill him with a knife, though she fails. The zombies finish off the living and start looking for anyone else to eat. R smears some blood from his mouth on Julie to make her smell like them and tells her not to be afraid if she wants to get out of there alive. Nora, hiding, watches as Julie walks among the zombies, who believe she has transformed and become one of them. She walks with them until they reach R's plane, his hideout. Julie is scared of him and cries. He sits next to her and tells her, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you." He leaves her in the plane, locks her in, and steps outside to give her some privacy. He sits in his car, takes a piece of Perry's brain, and starts eating it. Through Perry's memories, he learns that Julie's father, Papa John, was working on a project to keep all humans in one place, surrounded by walls forever. Julie didn't agree with this, feeling her father was exaggerating, thinking zombies weren't as dangerous as he believed. She wanted to prove this to Perry, sneaking him behind the wall to the zombie city. They wandered until they reached a group of zombies, including Perry's father. As Papa John had warned, they had lost their humanity years ago. Perry's father attacked him to eat him, and Julie saw his bloodshot eyes. This was the shock of Perry's life, causing him to follow John's orders without question. Here, R understands why Julie is afraid of him, even after he told her he wouldn't hurt her. He takes her back to the plane, where she holds a knife, still frightened. He brings her a blanket, covers her, and tells her to sleep without fear. He plays a record with music to help her sleep, and he gets lost in the song as it plays. This surprises Julie, seeing him act like a normal human, not a zombie. At this moment, his heart begins to beat again, after being dead. The next morning, she wakes up and finds him watching her, as zombies don't sleep. She tells him she's hungry and wants to leave to return home, but the outside world isn't safe yet. She asks him to at least get her something to eat because she's starving. He agrees, leaves, and goes to find food. While he's gone, she decides to escape the plane quickly to return behind the wall. Suddenly, she finds herself surrounded by hordes of zombies everywhere. They can smell her human scent all over the place. She hides from them, but R appears behind her suddenly and warns her not to run. He smears blood from his mouth on her face again and tells her to follow him, teaching her how to walk so the zombies don't notice her. Julie started walking as she was taught, but she was a bit over the top in her acting. He told her, "You're overdoing it." it. Try to be more natural. After a while, they returned to the plane and sat peacefully. He gave her the food he had brought for her. While she was eating, he sat with her and introduced himself. The name was something like R. He couldn't quite remember. Of course, she tried guessing his name, Richard, Riyad, Ruwe, but she couldn't get it right. So they agreed to just go with R and move on. When she told him she wanted to go back home, he said it wasn't safe outside right now. The truth was, he wanted her to stay with him longer because he had feelings for her. He even considered the time they were spending together as something special between them. He made an excuse, saying she needed to stay with him for a few more days because she'd be noticed if she went outside. Julie was, of course, surprised and asked him if there was anyone else like him around. He said he didn't understand what she meant by like him. In any case, she agreed to stay with him for those few days, and he was very happy about that. But she had no idea how she'd spend those days. Surely she couldn't just stay on the plane the whole time. So he took her to try things she'd never done before, like driving a BMW on an empty road. Of course, he didn't know how to drive, so he started learning from scratch. But slowly he got better, driving while glancing at her. When they returned to the plane, she was surprised by his music type. He told her his hobby was collecting anything he found while wandering around houses. They started going through the many things he had collected but never used. They played together, danced together, and suddenly his friend, who was outside, heard the music playing inside the plane. Later, Julie asked him about Harry, her ex-boyfriend who had died there. She wondered if he might come back as one of them, or if he was really gone for good. He told her he was truly gone and wouldn't turn. Of course, he was very certain about this because he had eaten Perry's brain, and if the brain was damaged by a bullet, for example, or eaten, the body wouldn't turn. Julie began recalling memories of Perry and opened up about how much Perry had gone through in his life and how sad she was about losing him. He played romantic music and told her he was there for her and would never leave her alone. He let her sleep and rest for a while, then took a piece of Perry's brain and started eating it to dream about Perry's memories. In the dream, he saw Perry being recruited by her father and the day they were attacked in the medicine warehouse, along with all the events that had happened. Suddenly, he snapped out of the dream to find the plane door open and Julie gone. Outside, everyone had surrounded her, and she was struggling to defend herself. His friend was about to attack her when R intervened, pushing him away and killing the two zombies near her. He asked her why she had left the plane. She replied, "It's been days, and you said it would just be a few days. I want to go back home." He said, "Okay, I'll take you back." And as they were
about to leave together, his friend protested, saying, "She's a living human." R, of course, refused to let him harm her and shouted at him again. Julie was surprised by his behavior since he wasn't supposed to feel emotions, but he told her that she had stirred something inside him. They got into the car and headed to the garage to take her back home. When they arrived, they found a large group of zombies in front of them. She got scared and held his hand while standing next to him. Everyone saw this scene and moved aside to let them through to the car. They got in and drove away quickly before the bonies could reach them. On the way, Julie got hungry and tired from the drive, so they stopped at a house to look for food and rest for a while. Inside, they found a Polaroid camera, and she started taking pictures of R and had him take pictures of her too. Later, she went upstairs to sleep and told him to come up and not stay downstairs. Meanwhile, in the garage, his friend was looking at a picture of two people holding hands. It reminded him of Julie holding R's hand when she was scared of the zombies. This brought back memories of his wife and how he used to hold her hand in the same way. It wasn't just him. The same thing happened to everyone standing there. They all started recalling memories, and at that moment, it seemed like each one of them came back to life after being dead. This is what made the bonies attracted to them. They could sense their beating hearts. Back at the house, Julie and R heard a noise outside while they were sleeping upstairs. She looked out the window and saw her father with a patrol combing the area searching for her. She told R to hide because her father would kill him on sight without asking questions. Later, as they lay down together, she asked him if he had to feed on humans. He told her yes, he needed to feed on humans to survive, but he hadn't eaten her, which made it a choice for him. He was trying to become human again and not give in to becoming one of the bonies. This was like any normal person trying to be good and not giving in to temptations or bad habits. In her eyes, at that moment, he seemed more human than anyone else in her city. Feeling guilty, he gave her Perry's watch and confessed that he was the one who had killed Perry and eaten his brain. She told him she had suspected it was him, but had hoped she was imagining it or mistaken. She turned away from him and cried herself to sleep. As for him, surprisingly, he started dreaming about her sitting with Perry and her friend, talking about their dreams. One of those dreams was finding a cure to heal the zombies someday. In the dream, Perry asked him, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to just be watching. Do you think you're dreaming?" Perry continued. Julie defended him, saying, "Let him dream." Perry asked him what he wanted, and he replied that he didn't know who he was or what he wanted. Julie convinced him that he could be anyone or anything he wanted to be. He said all he wanted was to be with her. Perry laughed and said, "Do you think she'll want to be with you after you killed her boyfriend and fed on him?" At that moment, it became clear that he was indeed dreaming for the first time. When he woke up, she wasn't in bed. He went outside and saw she had taken the car and left. He was heartbroken and took the pictures she had taken of him inside the house. He accepted that he could never be what he wanted to be and that she would never choose to stay with him. He decided to accept this and stop trying to change. Julie, meanwhile, reached her destination, where her father, John, met her. When he asked where she had been, she told him the story her friend Nora had made up for her. She had escaped from them, hid in a house until things calmed down, and then managed to return. As for R, he went back to his old life, deciding to continue as he was and stop dreaming of change. He met his friend and the others who had been with him, and strangely, they were shivering from the cold. Although they naturally don't feel cold, he told them that the Bonies are looking for him and Julie, and he barely managed to escape from them. This was because the two of them started something that made their memories return to them again. And not only that, he also slept and dreamed of his mother and wife, and they were on a picnic in a park together. Here, he discovered that their persistence truly paid off, and that there is still hope that they won't remain Bonies forever. And since they are changing, they might even return to live among humans again. So he thought of an idea and asked for their help, and they agreed to assist him. They decided he would go inform Julie about what happened while they gathered as many zombies as possible who showed signs of change. He began recalling the place where Julie and Perry had previously escaped through the wall to infiltrate the city. Indeed, he managed to sneak into the
city through the same spot Julie and Perry had used before. He saw people walking inside, so he blended in and walked among them. He kept moving from place to place, searching for her until he reached a large mansion and realized it must be hers. Julie was inside with Nora, telling her what had happened to her and that she felt a strange connection to him, as if she truly missed him after leaving him. Nora told her to stop being silly and leave her to sleep. When Nora left her to sleep and stepped out onto the balcony for a bit, she found him standing below, calling her name. She was, of course, happy to see him, but at the same time she was scared because if anyone saw him there, they would kill him. Her friend, sitting inside, thought she was overreacting with her feelings and talking to herself on the balcony, so she went out to check on her and saw him, and she was astonished, unable to believe what she was seeing. Julie came down, opened the door, and told him she missed him so much and was sorry for leaving him like that. What was stranger was that when she hugged him, she felt something odd. His body was warmer than the last time she touched him. When they went upstairs with Nora, she observed him curiously, surprised that he didn't smell rotten like the other zombies. He told her he came to inform them that many of them had changed like him and could live among humans again. When he told her they had real dreams, not just imaginations, she said they needed to go to her father and tell him immediately. Of course, Nora objected because her father would kill him without a second thought if he saw him, but he told her they didn't have time because the Bonies were chasing them after they started changing. So there was no other solution but to meet her father. But first, they needed to disguise him a bit so the soldiers wouldn't notice him entering. They gave him a hot shower to make him feel a bit more human and applied some makeup to make him appear somewhat normal. Meanwhile, the Bonies were marching outside, heading straight for the wall. Julie and Nora took him to the warehouse leading to the wall and then to where her father was. Julie was afraid her father would kill him, but he reassured her, saying that no matter what happened, they would stay together and change despite the circumstances. As they were about to enter, the guard at the door stopped them, saying no one was allowed in because they were on high alert. Nora sarcastically replied that they were also in a state of high alert. When Julie entered, she told the two of them to wait outside and went to ask her father the reason for all the preparations. He told her they had received news that a large number of Bonies and zombies were heading their way. Unfortunately, their numbers were too great, and they wouldn't be able to do much if they attacked, but they would do their best to defend themselves until their last breath. She pulled him aside and started telling him that the undead were truly changing and coming back to life. He told her that was impossible and that he didn't have time for such nonsense. He yelled at her, reminding her of her mother, whose brain was eaten in front of him, and her boyfriend, whose brain they also found devoured. He told her to go back home and hide well because the past was nothing compared to what was coming. As he walked away, he bumped into him and looked at him, puzzled, asking who he was since her father knew everyone in that place. He couldn't answer because he didn't even know his own name. That's when her father realized he was a zombie. He suddenly pulled out his gun to kill him, but Julie tried to stop him. He told her they wanted to help, not attack, and that they were improving day by day. But of course, her father didn't believe him and was about to shoot him in the head when Nora came from behind with a gun and told him to lower his weapon immediately or she would shoot him. She told Julie to take him and leave quickly. As they left, intending to meet the group of zombies they had gathered, the alarms went off throughout the place. She took him and went down to the cellar, where they found his friend and the army waiting with him. They had all transformed and regained their humanity, ready to fight to become human again. At that moment, the Bonies arrived and smelled Julie and him. They began breaking the glass above them and descended upon them. His friend told them to escape while they held them off as much as possible. When the soldiers reached the place where the Bonies and zombies were, the Bonies attacked and killed them all. Only one soldier remained, and as the Bonies were about to kill him, one of the zombies killed the Bonies and extended his hand to help the soldier up to join them. When the battalion entered, they found the zombies attacking and killing the Bonies. They couldn't figure out who to shoot at. His friend grabbed one of the Bonies and told the soldiers to shoot at the Bonies, not the zombies. The soldiers informed her father that the zombies were attacking and killing the Bonies, but he didn't believe it. Julie and he, after all the running, found themselves facing another group of Bonies. They ran toward a door to escape, but the door was high and they were about to fall. Julie was scared she would die, but he held her and told her not to be afraid and to jump into the water. After jumping into the water, she thought he had died since he was already a corpse, but he emerged alive, even though he was a corpse. When they looked at each other, his eyes suddenly turned normal, like a human's. At that moment, her father appeared and shot him in the shoulder, telling her to step away from him, or the next shot would be in his head. She pleaded with him to forget what happened to her mother and believed that they were truly changing and could finally find a cure for all of this. And suddenly, or notices that he has has started bleeding. It's supposed to be that corpses don't bleed because they don't have an internal life cycle, because their hearts are essentially conscious. So all the soldiers lowered their weapons, following Papa John's concept, as soon as they saw him bleeding in the water, and he gave an order to the soldiers over the radio not to kill any corpse, but only to kill the Osmians. Then Julie and Orma got into the car and returned the wallpaper back again. Meanwhile, the soldiers and the corpses joined forces in a war against the Osmians until they wiped them all out. Unfortunately, as we mentioned, the Osmians surrendered from the beginning, so it's very difficult for them to change or return to being normal again. And humans began to communicate with the corpses again and accept them into their society. They even taught them how to be humans again. The happiest person in all of this was his friend, who named himself Marcus and managed to charm a girl under the rain with his umbrella. And finally, the dividing wall was broken, opening up to the outside world again. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching.